All right, next one is Quest renewal confirmation.
Tim McGinnis can touch on this.
We had talked to Quest earlier in the year about extending their contract for one more year, and they agreed to that. There's a copy of the letter in your packet that, you know, an agreement to extend it for the 2012-2013 school year. At the end of next year, we would go out for bid. So we recommend that the board approve this agreement, this extension for 1 year.
And what's your intent after this?
I think we need to look at it. Tim could provide an analysis of what our revenue. I mean, I don't want to put people to go out to bid to go just to say we went out to bid, but I think if we've had some concerns or some issues, we could look at that. I mean, in regards to Quest, they've done a really good job for us in our first year here. Just Tim and I overseeing and watching what's going on. So I think, you know, at the 6-month point, maybe with the Facilities Council, we can talk a little bit about, you know, do we do another 1-year extension or do we look at rebidding? Because with that transition would then be a lot of changeover in how our cafeteria is structured in regard to food lines and menus and services and some stuff like that. So. But I think every couple of years we should make sure that we're getting the best prices too. So
that's pretty easy.
Are there any things you want to change about a relationship with Quest, like the pricing or the accounting of how you leave money at the end of the year goes away?
The pricing really last year, they increased the price on a few items, but it really wasn't very much at all. I haven't talked to them about next year yet. But I think the quality of the food, you know, the number of items that you can select from, in both the student cafeteria and the faculty cafeteria, I mean, I think they do a really good job.
Yeah, our kids love it.
Well,
yeah, they eat breakfast there. You know, like
it'd also help us too with our free and reduced lunch population. We're not on the National School Lunch Program, but they still accommodate a free and reduced lunch price, correct?
Yes.
Well, do they give you a report on what they sell? Yeah. And, you know, how many vegetables, how many hamburgers?
Yeah, we have a wellness
like
committee that works with them to try to come up with.
I'd be curious to see
alternative menu selections and more increased vegetables and things like that.
But it's one of our biggest expenditures of outside contractors, right after Aramark Quest.
No, we don't spend any.
Actually, we don't pay them.
Well, I consider the fact that the families pay.
Yes.
We hire them and the families pay for them.
Yeah.
So, you know, we have to protect the interest there. And I would suggest earlier than 6 months, because we talked about postponing this till next year, Kevin, that there's some kind of presentation on what alternatives are available, because it's easy to say keep them, they're good, because we don't have to pay for them. But maybe the next guy down the block is better and it'll do it cheaper and give more money for it. I mean, we just don't know without asking the questions.
Mm-hmm.
So I suggest if we're going to consider it, since we're doing a year, like earlier in the year, September, October, we look at, you know, what they're doing, what the costs are to the families. We hire them, but they pay for them. And whether we should consider, because it would take more than 6 months to go through the process of considering it, send out RFPs and picking somebody, I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Tim, if you were, or any recommendations, you know, we have our little calendar. Would that be something we might want to put on one of the months in the calendar, you know, if we're thinking about it? When would it be a good time to bring it up?
Well, I would suggest first we could do that, or what Kevin said, maybe first he wants to bring it up to Facilities Council, because we have talked about it there, but whichever people think is a more appropriate way, I don't care. I just think we should look at it, that's all.
Well, even if it falls like in the facilities, if we put it in the calendar, then each year he could bring it to the facility, say, do we need to address it this year? But then it gets on the rotation, you know, it's one of those things that...
Well, we have the contract tool that you received in the last update on Friday, where every single one of our contracts it shows when it expires, when it needs board approval, or what needs legal counsel approval. So we would have those kind of aligned accordingly. So Tim and I can look at it this fall. We could talk with the Facilities Council, and then based on what we look into, and we could present to the board on whether or not we recommend going another year or put it out for an RFP.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, we need a motion on this.
Well, I want to make another comment, and I totally agree with what Tim says, that look at alternatives just to keep these people honest. But I think putting on the calendar, whatever you want to do, some type of presentation from this wellness, whatever you got going.
Sure. Wellness committee.
Because, you know, I'd like a report to see what they're
Yeah.
feeding everybody.
Yeah,
to be
I'd
honest
like to
with
see
you.
what the
Yeah,
top
with
sellers
nutritional
are.
content, you know, are we feeding them whatever? I think it's our purview to have that discussion, or let the community know too.
I think that's an excellent presentation idea.
So on our calendar, there's a couple reports we're missing, you know, like we can get a report from our programs, a report from the cafeteria, from the department chairs, we can kind of put them over the calendar.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, do I have a motion on this, please?
Resolved that the Board of Education, Township High School District 208, Cook County, Illinois hereby approves the agreement with Quest as food service provider under the current contract for the 2012-2013 school year as presented in the June 12, 2012 Board Agenda Packet.
Second. Second by Mike Walsh. Any more discussion? Mary Ann?
Mr. Welch?
Yes.
Mr. Gritchen?
Yes.
Ms. Hruska?
Yes.
Dr. King?
No.
Mr. Moon?
Yep.
Mr. Walsh?
Yes.
Mr. Cindy?
Yes.